From the Hollywood Reporter, and I am so honored as somebody like many of you who has loved the show since 2015 when it first went on the air, to be here to sort of send it off into its final season in proper fashion. This is a show that is so smart, so funny, so provocative, so ahead of the curve on so many topics that we'll end up discussing with folks here today. 4 people who are as centrally responsible for the show's success. You first heard about the show from a guy, we should note, who at the time had never really worked in television before, and for a network that had not really done this kind of darker programming before. It was the whole blue skies concept, nothing wrong with that, but this was just very different. So I wonder, Rami, when this first crossed your radar, what went through your mind?
Well, the title, first of all, I was a little confused by. I thought, what's this going to be? And then after just reading the opening for the show, the first few pages, I was immediately hooked. I knew there was a very extremely talented writer at the helm of this. And then I just blew through it. I was hooked the way you're just reading anything that is engrossing in a way. You just stop thinking about it from a work perspective and start thinking, wow, this is just entertaining. And then at the end of it, you get to a place and I said, well, I would love to do this. And like you said, I knew that it was going to be at the USA Network, and I didn't know much about USA Network. I mean, I knew a few shows, but I was quite honestly just intrigued as to how it was going to be done on that network. And I think they took a great risk in making a show that I'm sure a lot of people thought might not be a cash cow per se, or draw an immediate audience. It was a very unusual story about a very unusual human being who does some very extraordinarily unusual things in his life. And I thought, listen, when I met Sam and Steve Golden and Chad Hamilton, I thought that these guys do not make bad decisions. And this man has a very unique vision and can write like nobody else. And I could tell that I was in the same space, encountering someone who was unique and extremely talented, and where he went, I was prepared to go as well.
And can we just share what your initial audition entailed? Because this was not you couldn't phone this one in, right? I mean, there was quite a bit of material.
It was the Fuck Society speech, the opening Ron's coffee scene, and there was something else.
It was the whole pilot.
Yeah, it was basically you do the first episode and then it was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a gamble or a risk. And there were elements in this one that, led to questioning. And like we were saying, USA didn't typically do a show like this. So, so there's always an element of anxiety going in.
Let me just quickly give a shout out to USA, because they kind of, out of all the networks, they did roll the dice on this one and was brave and honestly kept everything about the pilot intact. I just want to say that shout out. This show would not be here without USA.
Changed television in a way as well.
Yes, totally.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Sorry.
Love USA. But at the time, they'd been doing things in another way, and look, again, with the title, I picked up the script, Mr. Robot. I thought, oh God, what is this going to be?
I did not know you guys hated the title, so
it just was
USA.
It was different, It was. I thought, in my imagination, I'd be playing like a butler as an android. You'd be lifting the thing up, and there'd be wires and shit.
This is sounding pretty good. I kind of want to do that.
Mr. Robot Belvedere. That was but yeah, no, and then I read the script and did like Rami just said. I mean, the writing was extraordinary, and
you totally guessed the twist.
That's right. No, we had our first meeting with Chad, and I just said, look, just tell what's the deal with this guy? Is he really there? And you were like, do you really want to know? And I said, yeah, I'd be curious. And then you told me the deal, and yeah, I remember being so excited about that because that too was such an unusual thing to hear. Usually, you play it safe and you don't go for that, and so this was from the get-go extraordinarily unique and different. And Rami, I mean, I'd seen Night at the Museum. Yeah, so I thought, hey, this kid's pretty good. He's perfect for Elliot. So, yeah, I said, I think this kid's pretty good. I think he's maybe an up-and-comer, so I just dove in, and I remember the first day meeting you at my wardrobe fitting, and then we had to do the whole...
We had to do the Ferris wheel scene.
We had to do the Ferris wheel scene.
I feel like we...
really put us on the spot.
Out of tight pink clothes and high heels. So perfect, right? Exactly what you imagined. Yeah, thank God for Susie Ferris, who was our casting director. Rightfully so. They were like, this is weird and you don't have the same vision that we do. But yeah, first they said Angela, and then came back and said Darlene, and I loved them both. So in the first audition I read for both characters, but Darlene always felt like more me. And I remember, that they were like USA, and I was like, USA? I just watched like SVU reruns. And then, so I was like, okay, what is this? And then I literally distinctly remember the day and moment that I read the script. And afterwards I shut my computer and just like sat there and was like, what the fuck just happened? And was like, walking into the movie with my boyfriend, was like, could not stop talking about it, and it was just something so special. And Darlene has like one or two lines in the pilot, but I remember for the audition I got 2 scenes from episode 2. But it was really.
But yeah, the other day I misread the call sheet, and I thought, I read the wrong scene for the day, and got to work and realized, because usually when I see like a lot of dialogue, I'm very excited. I'm like, oh goody, I get to talk today, and this is a challenge, and it's really fun. But this day I was not happy because, I didn't know any of it. So fortunately, I'm surrounded by a great team. And this guy, we spent the whole day just, beating our heads against the wall. So a lot of it comes down to like the team you're working with and the help you get around.
When they wrap up their series is anyone here a fan of British? You know what they typically do at the end? Like the British Office, you tend to do a Christmas special. And so the final season of Mr. Robot is one very long Christmas special. It'll last over about a week over Christmas of 2015. So that's
get ready, coming